Alright, this is 1-5 notes. It's solving inequalities with variables and distribution on both sides. So, inequality. All inequality is, it is an open sentence that contains the following symbols: less than, greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. No, I don't need that at the end. Alright, so less than, here's your less than symbol, stands for less than, fewer than. Here's your greater than symbol, greater than, more than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, so all we're doing today is we are solving inequalities and we are going to check it on a number line for the first few. So here we're going to start with number 1. Okay, number 1, t, I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so it's not so thick. Alright, so we have t minus 12 is greater than or equal to 16. Okay, to solve for t, you add 12 to both sides. You have t is greater than or equal to, that gives us 28. Alright, whenever you have a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, okay, you have a solid circle. Whenever it's just less than or greater than, you have an open circle. Alright, so here we are at 28 because I have an equal sign. I'm going to put that there, and it tells me that t is greater than, so I want to pick numbers that are greater than 28. That's 29, 30, da 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 da. So it's going to go in that direction because all of those numbers represent numbers that are greater than 28. Number 2. Okay, so for number 2, we have n minus 12 is less than 6. We're going to solve for n, so you want to add 12 to both sides. So you have n is less than 18. Alright, so we are at the number 18. It will be an open circle because it is not equal to. And then since it says n is less than 18, we are going to draw our arrow to the left because it is less. Again, you can always pause this and rewind it. Watch as many times as you need to. Number 3, 6 is less than or equal to g minus 3. Okay, so if I have a minus 3, what I'm going to do? I'm going to add 3 to both sides. That crosses out. That gives me 9. 9 is less than or equal to g. Okay, or the other way you can write this is g is greater than or equal to 9. And I always rewrite it because I like my variable to be on the left. Alright, so here we go. We have 9. That's going to be a closed circle. This says that g has to be greater than 9. So if g is greater than or equal to 9, I want my arrow to go to the right to represent the greater numbers. Okay, so that is how you do it on a number line. The rest of these we are just going to solve our equation. Okay, and we'll probably only do about 5 of these problems and then that will be good enough. So here we're going to start with number 4. Alright, number 4. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this 4x over because I want my x's to be on the same side. Those cross off, negative 3 and positive 4. Positive winning by 1 point, so I have 1x is less than or equal to 8. And that is it. Now there is a fancy way though we write these answers. You do a fancy little squiggly line, you write the x, you write a straight line, you write x again is less than or equal to 8, and you do your little fancy squiggly line. Alright, next one I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and skip down to number 7. So number 7, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to subtract 2.4 from both sides. So minus 2.4 minus 2.4. I'm going to cross those out. I get negative 3.6 is greater than y. Again, I like to rewrite this. I like my variable to be on the left side, so y is less than negative 3.6. Write it in fancy notation. Y such that y is less than negative 3.6. Close with my fancy bracket. Alright, let's see, next one we can do, let's go ahead and we'll do number 8, okay, so number 8, let me go ahead, this time you typically would want to move the 4y, but because it's all by itself over there, we're going to move the 5y, so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 5y from both sides, so minus 5y, and that's going to cross off, so that gives me negative y is less than 14. Okay, well, really, that's a negative 1y, and to get rid of that, we're going to divide both sides by negative 1. And uh-oh, Big thing, okay? You need to divide both sides by a negative. So what you have to do when you divide by a negative is you have to do something here. You have to change the sign. So what I do is I do like this scary like shocked face, okay? Because what that means is I am so shocked that we are dividing by a negative that this is my face, okay? And what we have to do is we got to flip this sign. So the less than sign becomes a greater than. Okay, and then these will cross off, so there's y is greater than negative 14. All right, so y is greater than negative 14 is my answer here. Now, last thing I can't forget to do is write it in fancy notation, y such that y is greater than negative 14. All right, let's see. We'll do two more. We'll do number 10. Okay, so here's number 10. Number 10, I have to go ahead and distribute the 3, distribute the negative 2. 3 times 2 is 6y. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. That's greater than 10. Alright, so if I combine my y, 6 minus 2 is a 4y. Negative 12 and negative 2 is a negative 14. That's greater than 10. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 14 to both sides. Add 14, add 14. So what I get here is 4y is greater than 24. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So what I have here is y is greater than 6. So y, fancy bracket, y such that y is greater than 6. Alright, and then let's see, last one we can do here. Let's do number 12. So number 12, again, I'm going to distribute a negative 2, I'm going to distribute an 8. Negative 2k plus 2 is greater than 8 plus 8k. Alright, doesn't matter which one you have, so we're going to go ahead and add 2k to both sides. So plus 2k plus 2k. So I have 2 is greater than 8 plus 10k. And what I want to do here is subtract 8 from both sides. And then I will have negative 6 is greater than 10k. And then I want to divide both sides by that 10. So what will happen here, negative 6 divided by 10, if you reduce that, you can hit math or enter. That will give you, 2 goes into both of those, so that'll give you negative 3 over 5 is greater than k. Alright, so we're going to do our final answer. We have k such that, and the way I'm going to write this is k is less than negative 3 over 5. Fancy bracket, because remember, I always like my variables to go on the left side. Alright, and that's all the little work problems that I'm going to do. Let's see the back side that we have here. It says Keisha's babysitting at $8 per hour to earn money for a car. So far, she saved $1,300. The car Keisha wants to buy costs at least $5,440. How much money does Keisha still need to buy the car, and how many more hours does she need to work? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to set up our inequality. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to write down, we make $8 an hour, and so far she's earned $1,300. Okay, and it has to be less than or equal to $5,440 because she wants to buy a car for at least, so there's your little keyword, at least, okay, $5,400. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract that $1,300 from both sides. So I have 8x is less than or equal to, when I subtract this, I will get 4,140. Then I have to divide both sides by 8 to get x all by itself. So x has to be less than or equal to 517.5. Okay, so Keisha, how much money does she still need? She still needs, so she still needs, she still needs $4,140 $140. So to earn that, she needs to work at least 517 and a half hours. So 517 hours and 30 minutes she would have to work. Alright, Blaine solved the inequality and graphed it below. Which of the following did Blaine solve? Okay, so let's go ahead and work this out. Now notice I'm distributing a positive 5. So every single one of these I'm going to have a positive 5x, a positive 5x, a positive 5x, a positive 5x. Which means my inequality will not flip, because when I go to my division part, I'm not dividing by a negative. So what that means is that whenever I plot this, okay, my inequalities aren't flipping. This over here is pointing to bigger numbers, so I know this is going to be a greater than symbol. So right now I know I can eliminate D and I can eliminate C. Okay, next thing that I don't have the choice of open or closed circles, so I got to look at A and I got to look at B. So let me start with A. 5x minus 15 is greater than 15. Add 15 to both sides. 5x is greater than 30. Divide both sides by 5. X is greater than 6. And that's exactly what I needed. So A here is my answer. Alright, and then let's see this last one. Marta scores 85, 70, and 92 on 3 math tests. What does she need to score on the 4th math test to have an average of 85 or better for all 4 tests? Alright, so she has made a score of 85, a 70, and 92 on all 3 math tests. She has to take one more test, and we are finding her average. Okay, so to find her average, we divide all this by 4. She says she wants to have an average of 85 or better. Okay, so what that means is this score is going to have to be, it can be greater than or equal to, let's see, what does she want? An 85. Alright, first up, you got to multiply both sides by 4. Get rid of that denominator. Okay, so when I do this, I'm going to have this 85 plus 70 plus 92 plus x is greater than or equal to 85 times 4 will give me 340. When I combine my like terms, so when I combine all 3 of these pretty numbers here, that gives me 247 plus x. And that has to be greater than or equal to 340. I only got one step I have to do left, and that's to subtract 247 from both sides. And whenever I do that, I will have x is greater than or equal to, subtract those, and that's a 93. So she has to make at least a 93, but she can make higher than that to get an 85. Okay, so what she can score then is a 93 or better. Now, the reason why it's not the answer C is because it says better than a 93, meaning she can't score a 93, but that's false. She actually can score a 93 to get her 85. So the answer then would be B as in boy, and that is it for those notes.